On Monday, President Trump, who had already said that he was going to resume sending aid to Ukraine, announced a new round that would be routed through members of NATO, saying,
"Having a strong Europe is a very good thing."
The president also threatened deep sanctions if Vladimir Putin does not agree to some kind of a peace deal in the next 50 days. Now, that is a stark cry from what we saw when President Trump sat with President Zelensky of Ukraine just a few months ago in the Oval Office.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
President Trump has never been particularly concerned about maintaining the post-World War II alliance or even suggesting that it is an imperative for the U.S. to stop a Russian march further into Europe. But what he is very concerned about always is being embarrassed and looking weak. I've covered President Trump since before he was a presidential candidate. He has generally spoken of Putin with admiration.
Reporters asked me if I thought President Putin was smart. I said, of course he's smart.
You've seen that play out in policy. President Trump was loath to suggest that Vladimir Putin was responsible for a war that Vladimir Putin started. He suggested at points that Ukraine was at fault.
You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
Since February, there have been a number of private talks with Vladimir Putin. Those have not led to anything substantial in the form of a deal. On July 3rd, President Trump made a point of telling reporters he had made no progress with Vladimir Putin on a phone call earlier that day.
I'm not happy about that.
A striking admission for a president who usually talks in positive terms. Several hours after that came one of the most expansive bombing efforts we have seen from Russia against Ukraine in this 3-year war. People close to President Trump have been clear for weeks that he felt as if Putin was stringing him along. In fact, President Trump has been clear about that himself.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Still, on Monday, President Trump insisted that while Vladimir Putin had, in his words,
We fooled Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden.
That he never fooled President Trump.
He didn't fool me.
Now, it remains to be seen how long-lasting this change from President Trump is. He has never viewed foreign conflicts the way a number of past U.S. presidents have. He is very transactional, and he approaches everything as something of a real estate deal. We will see if he gets something that he wants out of this, and perhaps he starts feeling more warmly toward Vladimir Putin again.